सहना सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्करा आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामय नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरं मूगं करोति वाचालं पङ्कुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश्च हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय. Yesterday we saw the 29th verse. Yam bhavam darshayedesya tam bhavam sadupashyati. The tam cha avati sabhut bhuttvasau tadgrahas samuvaiditam. So here the teacher says the seeker accepts that idea which is given by anybody, any teacher or any apta vakyaha, and accepts it, and he has faith in that, in the words of that guru. Maybe ordinary guru, maybe your own son can be your guru sometimes. We don't know who is going to give us this knowledge. It is said that Subramanya Swami taught his father only. Can you believe that? He is supposed to have taught Shiva also. So then who is the guru, we don't know. Maybe your wife who is all the time cooking and serving and everything, but she will tell you something sometimes which will may be an upatesham for you. Like that, anybody. And only problem is whatever you accept, sabhavam, yam bhavam, darshayedesya, whatever bhavam you have accepted from somebody else, a person whom you respect or who you have faith in the wisdom of that person, then you accept the tam bhavam satupashyati. He accepts, he knows, he sees only that bhavam as reality. Tam chavati sa bhutva, and the form of what is recognized and thus protects the inquirer. Now what happens? The inquirer has got lot of shraddha and had taken upadesham from Somebody. Upadeshan does not mean you go and do all types of things, which we don't believe in at all. That you must give some Guru Dakshina and then some something. Then only it becomes yours. No, not like that. Shraddha is essentially a mental vritti. So you have the Shraddha. And if you have that Shraddha, Bhagavan himself increases that Shraddha in you and make you realize the truth. From whichever level you are approaching the Paramatma, whatever the marga, whoever the teacher, you attain. Ultimately, it depends on your Shraddha. This is what he said there. Bhutvasau tat graha samupaiditam. Possessed by that exclusive idea, he believes in it, he holds on to it and attains. The wonderful thing is, he realizes the truth by that method. Just as I given you the example of, Nisargadatta Maharaj, who is totally ignorant. Only beady roller he was. And living in samsara with a family in the slums of Bombay. That is where he lived. And people from all over the world used to come to that slum. After he realized also, he lived there only. He did not find it necessary that he should go to Himalayas, sit in a cave or anything like that. Knowledge can happen anywhere. And he realized. And when we read that I am that book of Nisargadatta Maharaj, you wonder how he got so much of Vedantic terminology. Where he learnt. So, always I think if you have done sadhana, if you have got faith, what happens is all the ego is lost and you become like a hollow pipe. For what? For Paramatma to express himself. So it is not what bhava you are saying is the reality. Whatever is the Om is reality, and then you worship Om. And you attain. Or this vigraha, this form of the Lord is reality. If you have total faith in that, that itself becomes reality for you. See, so nothing to worry about. 35 different bhavas are given here, and whatever is your Ishtadevata, whatever is your altar, surrender to that altar and have faith that by this I am going to achieve the truth in myself. Shraddhayar chidum ichchade yo yam tanum shraddhaya in Gita. Yo yam tanum. Whatever is the form of the Lord, the name of the Lord, or the name of the altar is not, no, I don't believe in all this. I will have only nothing. Why? Because it has no form. You are trying to go with the description of the physical description. No. It is Shraddha in it. So when you go to a great temple in Chidambaram, when they open the door, nothing is inside. Chidambara, I am sorry. Nothing is inside, and you get really cheated. You cannot think about that. No form. Formless God you cannot accept easily. Understand? So, he says, yo yam tanum shraddhaya archidum. And who does worship that with Shraddha, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. How did you read? What is your path? Don't ask. Each one has different path. That is all I can say. You take your own path and walk. But if you have Shraddha, you will attain. Like Nisargadatta Maharaj, it said, attained realization in 3 years. And only Upadesha he got was Tattvam Asi. That is you. What you are seeking is you. One word only teacher said, because he doesn't know anything more to talk. There is no vocabulary in him. So what to tell him? And he went and meditated on it. I am that, I am that. And that is the fruitful meditation of a seeker. And he realized, and he doesn't know what is. Everybody comes and asks questions about consciousness, about reality, about that, about this. And he answers them from where he got the term, the vocabulary then. So what I see is, when you become empty of your ego, the Paramatma himself expresses through that empty, hollow flute. And divine music will be the result. And your result is that you talk and surprises everybody. And great Maurice Friedman, somebody who had a very great Vedantin and a great seeker, an engineer he was in the Mysore government. And he came and sat with Nisargadatta Maharaj, and whatever he said, the questions asked and the answers he said, he had noted it down, which has become the famous book, I Am That. So then there is no rule who can realize. This is what I want to tell you. Yesterday I told you the story and all. Enough. So we go, tasya jalam shraddham tameva vidhatamyaham. Those who have shraddha, their shraddha I increase, says the Lord. And by that shraddha they attain me, madbhavam agadaha, they come to me. Okay, now we go to the 30th. Etaidesho pradak bhavaihi pradake vedi lakshitaha evam yo veda tattvena kalpayet tasau avishankidaha kalpayet so avishankidaha. Now, so who have the desho pratak bhavaihi, dono with this in these different forms in which you approach the reality, pratake vedi lakshitaha, and consider them as different, though not separate from all these bhavas. Where are all these imaginations happening? In the Atman, the self. The adhishtanam for all your thought also is Atman alone. Pratak. Pratake vedi lakshitaha. Apratak bhavaihi. There apratak. So, as though it is not separate. Apratak means not separate. These bhavas are not separate from the Atman. In the Atman alone it is rising. Like the waves are not separate from the ocean. But they have got an identity called wave. The ornaments are not separate from gold, but they have a identity. This is a necklace, this is a bangle, this is a ring. Like that we say. But actually speaking, what are they all? So, actually speaking, what are all these babas? Is nothing but Atman alone. Atman is the adhishtanam for all your thoughts. These are all thoughts from the intellect. And where did they come from? And the thoughts rise in the consciousness alone. Every thought is, that is aham thought. Now I am asking you the content of the thought. Every thought contains what? Consciousness. Why don't you say that? Consciousness is the basis of all thought. Otherwise there is no thought. Suppose I am unconscious, I have no thought. I am sleeping, I have no thought. So, thought is consciousness plus an object, some object. See, I am seeing that flower. If I am seeing that flower, that flower thought comes into my mind because I am conscious of the flower. And what is the object? Flower. Then I have got knowledge of flower. You understand? So thoughts are rising from consciousness. This basic knowledge you must have. Because every thought is rising from consciousness. Hridaya kuhara madhye kevalam brahma matram aham idhi sakshat atmarupena bhadi. So, from that consciousness which is in my heart, the Atma Chaitanyam, from that comes the first thought, the I thought, ahankara, rises from the consciousness. So you remove the object, then what remains? Only consciousness remains. That is why in the moments of meditation, when all thoughts have settled down, you have got at least a little glance of reality. You understand? Combined with this vrittis, vritti jnanam takes place. But we minus the vrittis, you have got the realization of the consciousness. We are in the meditation, you say it and then don't think anything. How can you do? The moment you say don't think anything, you will think 100 things. Not only that, you must say don't think of a black monkey. What will be the meditation? I should not think about the black monkey, I should not think about the black monkey. And the black monkey will be very much present in your mind. Yes or no? When I tell you, the mind should be emptied of all thoughts, then your attempt is only for emptying the thoughts. That becomes another thought. You see the problems in meditation. So here he says, all these are not separate from the Atman. Atman itself has become the various bhavas, various thoughts, various intellectual concepts. So you need not say they are pruthak. They are not different. Lakshidaha evam yo veda tatvena kalpayetyasau avishingidaha. And one who realizes this alone can interpret the meanings of the Vedas. He says, evam yo veda tatvena kalpayetyasau avishingidaha. One who realizes this knows the Vedas. Knows the Vedas does not mean you can chant all the Vedas. Don't take literal meanings for all this. Always lakshyartha you have to take. So what do you know by what the Vedas are telling us? He understands. He who knows the truth will understand that there is nothing but Brahman alone in this world. That Atma alone is there. One who knows that, he knows everything. So, in the 30th verse, Sarve Veda Yatpadam Amanande, all these have come in the various Upanishads in the Shruti. And here he now says in the 30th verse, Pradak Bhavaha, separate entity, Atman which is not separate, is seen as though separate. Atman is not separate from any thought, but we see it as separate. By the thought itself does the parichedam. And you see it as separate, is considered as separate. And hence the subject and object division comes. And thereafter, one who understands that all divisions are only appearance and knows the tattva, kalpayet. Dvaita is Dvaita is the stepping stone, is the doubtless clarity of an Advaita Guru. Is Dvaita required? Yes. For what? to reaching Advaita. Dvaita is also required. Saguna Brahma Upasana, Nirguna Brahma Prapti. So Upasana has no value, don't say. Upasana has great value. What is the value? I realize the truth. Bhagavan himself in the Kathopanishad, Bhagavan Guru says, one who chooses me against all other options. One who chooses me means who? The Paramatma. One who chooses me, I reveal my identity to him. Don't ever think you can reach Paramatma. You are nothing. A little foolish bubble in the ocean of bliss. There's a small bubble and that is you. And the bubble is thinking, I am the ocean. That is what is happening now. It will not happen. He reveals himself to you if you are available. He doesn't look at your capacities. He looks only at your availability. Are you available for me to make you realize? Is the question. If you are available, he will show you his true nature. That is why we must pity people who don't. I don't believe in God greater than God. I am God. And that is said in Vedanta also. There is a lot of difference between a Vedanti's kalpana of God and a Ajnani's kalpana of God. That is all. There is a lot of difference. He is full of ego. Technically he is correct. Yes. Tattvamasi so many times, 9 times in the Chandogya Upanishad, the Rishi has said, Tattvamasi, Tattvamasi. So what is it now? Why are you contradicting that? No, we are not contradicting, but to attain that state, you have to go through many upasanas. That is the problem. That is why I am not saying I go by the parampara in which I come from. And parampara says that unless and there one Kailasashram Mathadipati came here once for we had the Parayanam of all the all the Bhashyas of Shankara in this room. Very nice it was, to hear them sitting and chanting. And that Kailasa Mathadipati from Rishikesh, every day morning he does Sri Chakra Upasana. Why should he do Upasana? He who learned writing books on Vedanta, right, left and center, and he is doing Upasana. Why should he do? Because he has felt the need for Upasana. So don't think, that now we know Vedanta, why should we do Puja Gija and all? When you reach there, you need not do. Until that time, some Upasana. In some cases, it will be Guru Upasana. In some cases, it will be an altar is required to make the mind melt in love. If the mind does not melt in love for some altar, it is not going to be of any use in realization. Vikalpo Vinivarta, 32nd. That is over. Prutak bhava prutagevedi lakshitaha evam yo veda tattvena kalpet so avishingidaha. So, all these pranas, etc., bhavas is not different from. Like what? He gives an example also. Drishtanta is given. When you see that rope, you may see it as a snake because I did not see the rope. So I saw it as a snake. Need not be only snake. Pranadi bhavas, we say, You can also see it as a jaladhara. You can also see it as bhuchidram. You can see it as a garland. In different bhavas, you can see. In the same way, the Atman is seen in different bhavas. The Jnani knows they are all not different from the rope. Similarly, the rope Jnani knows, but the real Jnani knows that all these bhavas are only in the Atman alone. Atman is the very adhishtanam of everything. All these bhavas, they know. So having said that, idam sarvam Vedartham, they understand correctly what you mean by that. Idam sarvam yadayam atma. Idam sarvam. Whatever you are seeing, this is Shruti Vakyam. Whatever you are seeing as the pranadi jagat, they are all nothing but atma. Yadayam atma. Like that, Shruti has given you correct definition of that. In other words, Veda, Sarve Veda Amananti, in Sarve Vedaha Yat Padam Amanandaha, where? In Kathopanishad. And wanting which, wishing for which you observe Brahmacharyam, know that as Atma is come in Kathopanishad. Having said that, he Swapnamaye yadha drishte Gandharvanagaram yadha Tatha vishwamidam drishtam Vedanteshu vichakshanaihi. So, how do you look at this world in this Swapna, in Maya? Maya means here Indrajalam. Indrajalam, magic show. How you see this world? Yatha drishte. And sometimes when we see there are clouds in the sky and you can see a whole Gandharva Patanam, one whole city in the Akasha. As though all the clouds are formed in such a way that there is a castle in the air. We say, no, castle in the air. Castle in the air means it has no reality, but you are seeing it. Similarly, what is this that you see? Gandharva Patana. There no reality, but I am seeing it, but not true. The blue color in the sky. I am seeing, I am experiencing it. Experience is experience is not a recognition of reality. You may experience even unreal things. Need not be always real. Because I am seeing it, that is why we say yadrishyam tat mithya. Yadrishyam tat mithya. Tat jatam. Okay. Pratyaksha pramanam, outright we condemn. Because all that we see is not true. The sun is not rising at all. What is real? The world is going round the sun. But what we are seeing? Sun is rising and sun is setting. Neither happens. Sun stands in one place only. I didn't say, science is saying. And what is moving? We are moving. But are we feeling we are moving? No. When you go in the aeroplane, you feel you are not moving at all. But is it not moving? So all that you see need not be the truth. And he says here, and now we come to Neha Nanasti Kinch. Vedanta Panditas say all this. Whatever is not there, nasado vidyade bhavaha nabhavo vidyade sataha. In the second chapter, It is a condensation of this. That which does not have existence, it has no bhavam. And that which is existing cannot but have bhava. So you see here, all is only a imaginary nothing. Whatever you are seeing is a neha nanasti kinchana. In the Chandogya Upanishad, the Shruti says, neha nanasti. There is no nanatvam here. There is only oneness. There is only the one thing appearing as many. There is no nanatvam. Neha nanasti kinchana. Indro mayabhi pururupayade. And Indra there means the Paramatma. Paramatma, because of the Maya, appears in many, many forms. Pururupa iyate. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, I think. And dudiyadvai bhayam bhavadi nadu tad dudiyam asti. We are afraid because of the second one, like Robinson Crusoe. As long as he was alone in that, what is it? In that island, he was very happy. But when he saw another ship coming, he got frightened. Second one is always fear. So there is not dvidiya. Dvidiya deva bhayam. Bhayam bhavadi nadu tad dvidiyam asti. But there is no second thing. Ekam advidiyam brahma. Ityadi shruti vakyas. Thus the shruti vakyas emphasize nothing is real. Vedantam says not even the Jagrata Avastha is Satyam. Compared to what was all the previous verses are comparing the dream state with the Jagrat state. Dream state is unreal, nobody need to tell us that. But Jagrata Avastha also is unreal. In fact, Gaudapada clubs both of them together and says Swapnam only. Even Jagrata Avastha he says is Swapnam, long Swapnam. Other one is small Swapnam. And you get up from that Swapnam, you are Vinivartade. All the vikalpas that you have seen in the Swapna are gone. And now I wake up from this state into the higher state of consciousness. Then what happens? This is also a dream. And you will never realize that until you wake up to the higher state of realization. That is the sad thing. Till I know my true manam, nature, I cannot understand this. World appears to be very, very real. And its sorrows and joys, real. So, whole life you are struggling and struggling and struggling to find happiness in a permanent happiness in a impermanent, airy world. This is the sorrow of human being. You'll never find it there. And you'll never find. Today happy, tomorrow unhappy. Continuously goes on. Nobody is happy, really speaking. Everybody, one time or other, at all times, there is something to irritate their mind. And how can we be all that? Only you are just running away, you are escaping all this. Purva Pakshi will tell all types of things. You are escaping from life. Face life, okay. You understand? We are facing life now. They will come, but they are not real. The moment you know something is not real, the sorrows or joys it doles out to you become unreal. Then why are you preoccupied with it? Withdraw from them all and become a samasta sakshi. Just watch. Okay, today my mind is in a very happy mood. Okay. Tomorrow you will be different, I know you. Have a constant conversation with your own mind. Okay. I am very down today. Why? Over some silly nothing. Then you say, don't worry. Tomorrow you will be all right. Like we tell the children, they cry, they fall down, bruise their legs. Then they cry, children. No, it's gone, child. We like that, we console them. So console the mind. Don't worry, tomorrow you will be a different person. Which is true. Tomorrow I don't remember. Today is sorrow. Those who insist on knowing that sorrow for 20 years and 30 years, karpanyam, pavam. That's all we can say. That is why the Vedanta says always live in the present, not in the past. In the present. Past, so many things had happened. Now I cannot go back to the past and rectify any of my mistakes, first of all, let alone other people's. Can I go back in time? No. What is use? Dead past, unborn present, why are you wasting your life? You cannot be there because there is no consciousness there now. I don't bother about the past. So yesterday, that was yesterday. Today is a different day. 24 hours of great possibilities are there. Today. In other words, what Vedanta is telling is, it is a change in attitude. That's all that is required. It's a change in your attitude to life that makes you a contented, happy person. You cannot change the whole world. You cannot change the people. You cannot change their attitudes. Nothing can. I can change my attitude. And what is that? All these are always happening. It comes and it goes. Sorrows come and go. Joys come and go. I am only witness. Yes. So such a person only Vedanta talks. This mature person. So he says here, suppose you wake up somebody from their sleep, they'll get so angry. Sri Ramakrishna gives the example of a man who was dreaming he is a king and he has got wonderful children and everything he is enjoying. He is usually what? Nothing. He doesn't have anything, but he dreamt he is a king. And because they had to go somewhere, or then the wife or somebody woke him up. Then he got so angry. Why did you destroy my Raja Bhavam? Supposing it happened, you get so angry. And why are you fighting now? Because of some illusory perception. Remember the Indra story? We are all that state only, Indra story only. So, come out of that muck and dirt in which you have fallen and assert your really blissful nature. No matter what happens to me, I am blissful. I will only accept that and refuse to be sorrowful. Can we do that? It requires kaschit dhiraha avritta chakshuhu amrtatvam icchan. Kaschit dhira purushaha. Only a very brave person can turn inward in search of the truth. Avritta chakshuhu. Why he had turned his attention to the inner self, the Pratyagatman. Pratyagatman aikshandi. He sees the Pratyagatman because he had seen the world of reality, only sorrow only it brings. The world of, the waking world brings only sorrow. And searching for the reality, he turned inward. in the Mundaka Upanishad. No. Mundaka Upanishad. Avrita Chakshuhu Amritattvam Icchati. It is in Mundaka Upanishad. Now we come to a very important verse in the whole Mandukya. And that we have to take. Na nirodho na chotpatti na baddho na cha sadhakaha na mumukshur na vai muktaha ityesha paramarthada. This is a very important verse from the Vaidadhya Prakaranam. So, one who has understood the whole waking world and the dream world as unreal. Na nirodha, na utpattihi. There is no nasham. Nirodham means nasham. Na cha utpattihi. There is no origin of anything. From an unreal something, what can come out? Nothing can come out. Asatkajya vadam, that is nothing can come out. So, na nirodha, utpatti, origin and destruction is not there. Na baddha, na cha sadhakaha. There is nobody who is bound. Meaning thereby what? No jiva also. Who is not there? Jiva is not there. But jiva is not born at all. Kalpayet, jivam kalpayet. First only we said. It is only a kalpana. What is, everything is a kalpana. Now he says, na baddha, na cha sadhakaha. Sadhaka is also not. If you are bound only, you need to become a sadhaka. You are not bound. I am ever free. Nityobhalabdhi surupoham. Nityam. At all times I am the self and I am free. Nitya Mukta Swarupam is my real nature. So what am I searching for now? Na baddha. I am not bound by anything. I am not seeking any release. I am already released. When? Ever since I am there, I am a Nitya Muktaha, Nirmukta. In Narayaniyam starts like that. Sandranandava Bodhatmagam Anupamidam Kaladeshavadibhyam Nirmuktam. I am free from all time and space concepts. Kaladeshavadibhyam. I am not a Parichedavastu. I am not conditioned, limited by Kala and Desha. Then what am I? Nitya Muktaha, ever free. So what is moksha for you? Amma? And your moksha prasangam, is it? Moksha is to know that I am always muktaha. What is moksha? It is not some state. Even now, in this height of your ignorance also, you are muktaha. So to imagine that now I am bound and there is some place state called mukti and I have to work towards it is all, I want to say bad words, but I want to say, must always remember I am in the class. Is it not? What are you? That the moment you realize, the moment you see the rope, the snake has gone. The moment you realize your own true nature, what happens? This running for moksha, go to that ashram, to this teacher, everything will come to an end. Teacher says better. So what? What are you enjoying? Language. There are many people who told us, why we went to Gurudev's class? Because of beautiful English. And he is such a master in delivery of. The beauty of the delivery of the speech, not what the speech contains. That is, the content is forgotten. The container only is remembered. So, erroneous thinking in which we have fallen and continues that thinking. Never change. If you have really understood Vedanta, at the first instance you will become realized. So in this very powerful verse, Gaudapada says, what are you? Are you a? Did you have a beginning? No. Do you have a end? No. Na nirodho na cha utpattihi. I, the consciousness, I, the Atman, the self, is neither born nor have I an end. I am the ever-existing reality. Nitya upalabdhi surupaha, ever attained. Why we should worry? Then shouldn't we do any sadhana? Not necessary. If you can hold on to this view throughout life, then you don't have to do any sadhana. Sadhana is only up to that point when you know no sadhana is required. That is all. But if you say the sadhana is required, I am a baddha, I have to get, then you have to do sadhana. And you do sadhana. You have to do reasoning and logic, yes. Until what time? Until you realize that logic is not going to take you there. The end of logic only is the beginning of spirituality. You are holding on to some alambanam all the time. You are afraid to stand as you are. Is it not true? You want a teacher? You want a shastra? You want so many sadhanas? Just remove all that. Then what are you? I am that. Na baddhaha, na muktaha, and na sadhakaha. I am not a sadhaka also. I already attained that sadhyavastu. I am no longer a sadhaka. Like Yoga Swami, we also say, what sadhana? Eppo mudinja hari. Just finished long ago. I am always a mukta purusha. There is such beauty in these words. Na mumukshu. I who am nitya muktaha, am I a desirer of moksha? No. Mumukshu means muktum ichha. One who has got the desire for moksha. I have no desire for moksha because I already have it. Then am I a mumukshu? No. Mukshu I am not. Muktaha itesha paramarthada. I am not and can I say I am a muktaha? That also is a word only. I am neither muktaha nor mumukshu. I am neither baddha nor a sadhaka. I am neither birth nor death. I am the Atman, the self, which is ever attained. So, it is not something to be attained. That is the first thing you have to know in this path, that Atman is not something, is not an object which can be attained. Atman is ever jnadavyam, not praptavyam. Every other object in the world you want, you have to gain it. Is it not? That Atman cannot be gained. Atman can be only realized. Jnadavyam na praptavyam. As it is not an object. That Atman I am. Satmaha savijñeyaha. That Atman I am, that Atman I am. Go on asserting your true nature like that. Am I a Baddha? No. Am I a Sadhaka? No. Am I a limited individuality? No. Am I conditioned by time and space? No. Time and space are in me. I am not in time and space. Akasha also is in me only. If I am not there, Akasha is not there for me. Suppose I am sleeping, is there Akasha? Nothing is there in the deep sleep state. In my consciousness is this world. In my consciousness is the Akasha itself. Hence, Akasha is less subtle than Atman. Remember this. Atma is the subtlest. Inside that Atma, let us say, is like a trough is Akasha. When we reach Akasha only, we are dumbfounded and we don't know what is. So we always compare Atma to Akasha, but you are forgetting Atma is subtle, Akasha that you see is gross. So you can go on thinking like that, take this verse and go on meditating on it and arrive at the truth. We will see in the next class. Om. Hari Om.